Baldurs Gate, a game where you could make a unique and diverse party filled with spellcasters, musicians, paladins, fighters, barbarians, and archers. We are going to do none of that. We are simply going to make 3 fighters and see if all the suspects can hold their own in a tactician-only run. While we're going over character creation and gathering companions, let's talk about the rules. This will be a tactician-only run, and everything will have to be done by a fighter.
Huh?
Yeah. Never mind. I'm going to do as I want. I've got 3 people in my party, let's make this work. I'm going to try not to abuse too many game-breaking bugs and glitches, but I can't control my hoarding side, so I will have every item in this game, even if it kills me. So this first fight is going to be a bit of a problem, but we need the level 3, and we need to unlock withers. So we're going to use a speed pot, and then just use cover to bash everything to death before it gets us. Here's a neat little thing. Now, I don't know if this is actually a bug or is intended, but if you just go into turn-based mode, you can take the spear and then just run away. They literally can't stop you. At least now, though, we get to play a bit of hide-and-seek with the skeletons. Spend all the time dashing towards us. Still a couple things standing between us and level 3. Mainly these goblins. But thankfully at this point they're not much of a fight, and these guys could probably kill them without our help.
Faye, run.
Bit extra dialogue, and we got ourselves to level 3. Shadowheart gets champion, but I didn't actually do any research before this, so I don't really know how to use the subspec, so that we might respec quite a bit. Now that we've got level 3 though, it's time to do some killing. I mean, progressing the game. Thankfully, the owlbear falls pretty quickly, and we're taking her kid. He's mine now. The Goblin village was in for the exact same treatment, but decided to roll, and never mind, they get to live. For now. We're now going to unlock the waypoint to the Goblin Grove, and say goodbye to this creepy little guy. As will become common in this run, I completely forgot to bind Lae'zel's weapon, so we're going to be using spells for this fight, and just bashing it with everything else we've got. While we're in the area, we can pick up Karlach, even though we're not really going to use her this run. You can just sit in camp. Grab Scratch too, because no run is complete without this little guy. A couple more menial tasks, get some extra equipment. We find this thing. Now we're going to bash these ogres for a headband that we don't really need, but it should be quite an easy fight, because you can just pepper them from the roof without them being able to get to us. During this fight, Eldritch Knight was really showing off its power with the falling damage added when you throw a weapon. However, this was going really well, until we realised that they actually could just walk up here the entire time. So yeah, this quickly started not going well. And to make matters even worse, Lae'zel did this. Yeah. An insane crit from our fighter helped us clutch up this fight, then we just 1 on 3. Well, I mean, Lae'zel's down, but we can fix that. Lae'zel didn't stay up very long, and she then failed the death throw, so 2v1 I guess. After this though, we will need to take a long rest to restore everyone's HP and get ready for the next bit, which we're going to go running down into the swamp. We have no intention of fighting the hag right now. We can squeeze some extra XP out of the dialogue in this area. Back to the Goblin camp to free Volo, peacefully. Yeah, we were spotted doing that, but it's okay, he won't get very far. We need to start taking out the leaders, so we're going to get some high ground so that our Eldritch Knight can do even more damage on the falling throw. With a decent bit of RNG, this can be an easy one cycle without her ever getting to summon reinforcements. Shadowheart does Shadowheart things and misses her opening attack on the Ogre. Does still trigger a surprise round, so we're still able to get that first off for free. We completely miss again. We do manage to knock the Ogre prone. This seems to be a two-way street, because she's also having issues hitting us. Getting down into the Underdark gives us level 4 and an option to teleport back here. We're going to drop that both into ASI for Champion and Battlemaster, and Tavern Brawler for Eldritch Knight. This guy saw our power and immediately gave us his weapon out of fear. We decided to behave today and free the gnome rather than launching him to the stratosphere. We find an infestation down a well, so we promptly take care of that with a couple pushes and some good throws. Oh yeah, and Shadowheart hits an attack. We get accidentally infested with spider rabies, so we go back and feed Gale some items, because why not? A couple intimidation rolls allows Crusher to move to a different location, so we can more easily, peacefully take his ring off his cold dead body. We now need to get the Titan String Bow, so we're going to have to take out the Gnolls, and these guys can be quite a tough fight on Tactician. With a good speed pot to start, we're able to start quickly cleaving them down, take them out one by one. Although it does get a little bit dicey at the end, we're able to finish it without too many casualties. Doing this allows us to buy the Titan String Bow for Shadowheart, which are going to improve her damage massively. As we don't have much AoE at this point of the game, we're going to have to improvise. That didn't work, did it? That's better. A couple throws thin out the rest of the hordes, and we show the big guy a one-way trip back down. No, you're not supposed to do it to me! Ah, crap. Yeah, this significantly complicated the fight. So we get down there, res Lae'zel out of the spider pit, so we can start dropping arrows on them from above. Simply walking to the edge, shooting down, and walking back out of range kept us safe for most of this fight. This demon lady came to pay us a visit, but we're faithful to the frog wife. So instead, she just came to harass this homeless guy instead. With that drama out of the way, we're going to start shooting down on Minthara. With the bridge broken, we're mostly safe from her attacks, so we can just pepper them from above. Even though Shadowheart gets held person, we can still pepper Minthara from a distance. Yeah, however, this is when Minthy did the unthinkable, jumped the gap, ran up, and bashed Shadowheart to death. Not ideal. I was hoping Magic Missile would save the fight, but she was left with literally 1 HP, which she used to delete Shadowheart from existence. One extra hit puts her down, and we're able to finish off the fight. With just Halsin left free, we're almost done with the Goblin Village. This fight goes really smoothly, with plenty of hits, plenty of crits, and everything going down quite easily. The goblins outside still remain. By teleporting back to the Blighted Village, we can walk in, drop a cloud of daggers, and most of them will kill themselves walking through it. With the main story dealt with, we're left with two options, the either turn your brightness up area, or the turn your brightness down area. So naturally we go into the dark and grab some new items before we progress to the crash. We've been here about 10 minutes, and this fish lizard immediately wrecks Lae'zel. We try to put as much damage out onto this thing as possible, while getting Lae'zel back in the fight. We're able to land a good couple hits, before Shadowheart hits it with an arrow to prevent it healing when it burrows away. Goodbye, fish lizard. You will be missed. These friendly mushrooms offer to give us some loot if we go and bash some dwarves. Yeah, sure, why not? While we're here, we'll grab the caustic band for some damage and pick up another mushroom. The Dwagar are going to be a difficult fight at this level. We get a good opening round, but Glut does miss most of his attacks. We've got a couple hits in, even tried a little bit of trolling, but yeah, he didn't want to go. We spent a bit too much time dicking around, so we got surrounded by the zombies. Again, Fighter doesn't have a great deal of AoE at this level, so we had to bust out some scrolls of Burning Hands to deal with them. A second scroll takes out most of them, but we did lose our mushroom in the process. This fight gets completely turned on its head when Shadowheart once again goes down. We get hit with a nasty crit, causing our Rage to proc, and we completely whiff our next attack. Thankfully, we have some health potions, so we can keep ourselves alive just a little bit longer. Magic Missiles clears one guy, and the next one starts wailing on us again. We got a couple of good hits in left. We don't have the health to survive this much longer. And with that we fall, leaving just Lae'zel to clutch out the fight. It's all worth it though, because we got some loot that we're not going to use. With a little bit of careful planning, we can completely avoid the surprise round and tag the spectator from a distance. Once we kite it inside, it's easy pickings to keep hitting with our melee weapons. This fight quickly turns into a game of whack it till it's dead. On our next long rest, I wasn't invited to whatever this is. But we did find some oversized goldfish praying to a garden gnome. So naturally we kicked his silly little hat off and freed them. This gave us level 5, which was really important because this gives us an extra attack to play with every round. So naturally we test this out by doing a little bit of light reading. This guy was so impressed with our knowledge of literature that he didn't immediately slaughter us. In fact, he was so nice that he gave us a nice, cold, metallic hug. Let go, that hurts, ow, ow! This guy didn't like that we stole his raft, so we gave him an impromptu swimming lesson. Everyone else was so eager that they jumped straight into the water to show off their swimming skills too. We do a little bit more light murder, and this guy wasn't overly bothered as he only wanted 50 gold. Naturally we don't pay it and instead push everybody else off the cliff. This last guy really didn't like Shadowheart, which does seem to be a running trend at this point. We travelled a bit deeper and found another giant robot. He didn't see us though. With a little bit of talking, we were able to get these guys as allies to help us bash Nere. Tall and Ugly was about to be, as the Souls players say, taught a lesson in poise. With just a little bit more light shoving. It was about this point that all the builds were starting to come online. With extra attack, we were able to dish out so much more damage per round that nothing was really a challenge anymore. Most of these enemies could at max take 3 hits from us, so they all fell pretty quickly. Nere proceeded to do absolutely nothing, and get bashed repeatedly before eventually falling. At our next long rest, the most important part of this game happened. The owlbear cub arrived. Only a couple things left to clean up now before the crash, so we stormed towards the hag, getting ourselves level 6. A nice crit opens up the fight, and Lae'zel deals with most of the clones with a single magic missile. With all our bonus attacks, we're able to quite happily chunk the hag's health, leaving Shadowheart left to finish the fight. This was quite literally a 1-round fight. With a few good rolls, we're able to save both Marina and get ourselves a tasty snack. We completely forgot about the paladins, so it's time to bash them as hard as we can. At this level, they're completely a joke. They can't really do a lot to stop us. other than that. Frogwife to the rescue, takes out the Scar with no problem. The Gith put up a bit more of a fight, but Shadowheart knocks one prone on her turn, and we're able to finish her on the ground. With the biggest threat out of the way, we're able to pick the rest of them off one by one with a couple of crits and a couple of good hits. So what you see here isn't actually happening, this is completely part of your imagination, and I am not bashing Raphael to death in the Silence Orb. You weren't supposed to stand up. Give me that back. Thank you. We've finally got some good drip for everybody. As we know, fashion is the most important part of this game. This woman has a lot of things that I want, and she said some not very nice things to the Frogwife. So, yeah, she's getting the bonk. These kobolds are on fire, so we're going to have to use the hammer or it's going to be death by exploding kobold. I once again forgot to buy Lae'zel's weapon, so instead we're going to just start throwing stuff from our bags. On their turn, all they really did was dash towards the doorway, making them an easy target for us next round. There's not a lot we want in the Kresh, but we do want the Knife of the Undermountain to drop Shadowheart's crit range by another point. We go through these guys, speak to the Dream Visitor, come out of their astral prison to meet with this guy. He somehow thinks he's a match for us. What he fails to account for is the level of speed pots and of violence that we are able to put out. A couple rounds in, and we're already cleaving them down one by one. A good disarm takes this guy's weapons clean out of his hands, and he falls with the following strike. A few more good hits takes another one down. We're left with just the big guy left. We try and play catch, but he's not very good at it. Without the threat of getting feared out of all of our attacks, everything else gets cleaned up pretty quickly. This gives us level 7. We can pick some more maneuvers and upgrade everybody else. We make a new friend, and with that, Act 1 comes to an end. And now since this video has been recorded, they've announced the new class for Fighter, so the 4th one will be joining us in Act 2. Until then, take care. Bye!